Everybody, welcome back again to Go Industries. Today, we are at Lowe's picking up our material for our next build. Our next build is actually a 12 by 16 shed that we're doing out here in Hesperia, California. As you can see, the helpful guys at Lowe's over in Apple Valley will help us load everything up and get everything situated. Once we get all this done, we're going to be heading on over to the job site. We're going to be getting started. So let's take a look and see what's next. All right, so here's our job site. We got everything sorted out. We got the trailer partially unloaded, I'm gonna say, maybe halfway. We got the wood separated out right here. So as I get started on building the platform over here in the forefront, I'm gonna have my other guy cut the wood that we need to specific lengths. So I actually had to put him away from getting the cutting in today, so he can help me with this platform. I had to go ahead and level out the ground, make sure everything is leveled and perfectly aligned, so we can go ahead and get this floorboard made so we can sort and start building the walls after this. I don't know if you can tell, but there are some cedar blocks that we had to put up under the ground to level everything out to make sure everything was legit. So as we built this platform, I typically would do a 16-inch spacing, but we had customers who want to save money, and because of that, we had to go ahead and do 24-inch spacing for the floorboards. We are using 2x6 floor boards that we're using right here. That's treated, that's floor ground contact material. So we on top right here, we putting on our 1/2-inch tongue and groove plywood. So now what we're gonna do right here, we're gonna be cutting out some. I don't know what we're cutting out there, honestly. But next we're gonna be setting up the truss system. So I'm making some floorboard adjustments. So we're gonna build a brace on the ground so we can go ahead and build these truss. Once the brace is completed, we can go ahead and start building the truss after I get one made. You see what I'm doing right here. I'm getting one built right now. And once I get the first one fully completed and built, we got everything cut out to the same size. We can go ahead and get everything done. And now we're gonna be building all of them according to this brace that we built into the floor right here. And this is just the easiest way to getting it done. Now attaching these, we did use some of the plywood we had left over. We cut those 1/2-inch plywoods. They're actually about 3/8 of an inch plywood to go ahead and start using those as support braces for the truss system. So we're gonna build all the truss system. This is 24-inch on center. We're using 2x4s for the roof joists right here for the trusses. Now, we are getting all of these done right now because it wouldn't make sense to try to get these done afterwards. And this is still part of day one. Now that we got all the roof trusses built, we can go ahead and start doing the framing. So we're going to go ahead and start framing on the 16-foot wall sides. We're going to get both of those done. As you see, we're getting the first wall done, which is the back side by the brick wall. And you can just see how we're getting those done. We are using 2x4s, as I said before, to build the walls. If this was a system that we was doing for, say, a 4-season style with drywall and insulation and everything else, we probably would have ended up using 2x6s instead and 16-inch on center. But this is just going to be used as a shed. There's no special treatment that's going to be done for the inside of it. Basically, it's going to be rough set, but everything's going to look nice when it's all set up. So this is the first wall we're getting set up. We're about to go ahead and lift it up and get it rose. Now, as we got this first wall erected, we got the second wall down on the ground. We kind of took a break in between, so there's a missing pause in the recording there, but you get the gist of it. It has fall down to evening, which right now during this winter time, it is getting dark around 5:30 p.m. So it's not really late outside right now. At this point, it's probably about like 5:45 p.m. Now, we do have that good California weather, but these days, I'll be honest with you, it was kind of cold. Cold in a sense, not cool as, oh, this is excellent, but cold. We did have overcast all day in and out, so it caused me to put my jacket and my sweater and hoodie on and off all day. But it is the evening now, so it's a little bit cooler. Probably about, I'm gonna say about 50 degrees. Now I know in some states right now in the wintertime, 50 degrees sound like, woo, I could go put on some shorts and a tank top. But you dealing with some real Californians here, and anything below 68 degrees, we're cold. Okay, so that's just what it is. So now we're getting these we're getting the back wall done now, which is the 12-foot wall. And we're going to be ending the night. We're getting that last 12-foot wall in. My assistant kind of struggled a little bit at this point, trying to get everything lined up. And I had to come in and assist and take over, which you'll see. The guy in the blue jacket would be moved, and I'll be up in there with the black sweater on, getting everything done from the inside. So this is me coming in now and getting the part that he couldn't get done. But it's all good. He's just an assistant, and he's good at what he do. But now here we go on day 2. So on day 2, we're going to start with the front wall, which is where it's going to house the front door, which we are putting the residential door in there. And I don't like putting regular wooden doors. What I actually got was a security door, which it is foam and metal, but it's a more sturdier door than what you would typically get for a residential household. And the reason why I would use a door like that is because you just want something that's more sturdy. It don't have to be elegant, ain't got to be super nice, but I wanted to make sure that it's something that's going to be able to be that'll last, and that won't be able to just get kicked in with a flimsy kick, or in case a dog bump into it or something like that. So you want to make sure we put something sturdy that was up there. But we building the front wall now. It is going to house the front entrance of the door. So as you see, we kind of doing some measurements, getting the doors part cut out. So you make sure we got the right heights and everything. And we're going to fasten everything together, and we're going to start putting the walls up on the board while it's down on the ground still, and getting these walls up. All right, I know there was a long time in between they getting this wall set, but there's a lot of particular cuts that got to be done with this. We're getting the walls all set up for the door entry and getting the spacing and everything correct. If we don't do that right, it's going to be bad in the future for the rest of the setup. So you want to make sure we got everything set up on it properly. So at this point, I am letting all the walls in, and it's time for me to go grab a router so we can go ahead and cut out the door opening. And that's what you'll see here. So I'm cutting out the door opening now with the router bit. This is a flush cut router bit to where it just run along the sides of the wall, the board that's up under it. Now we setting it up and standing it up. You see I do have a 2x6 board in this, so it can make sure that gap is going to stay straight. So that way it won't open up or close on either side. So that way when we setting it up and we fasten it in to the side walls, the 16-foot side walls, everything will sit right. So now I'm gonna have my guys start caulking as I start putting the trusses together. I'm doing the cutouts for the eave overhang for the fronts and the back. So I don't know if you can see the clamps on here, but I have 2 of these put together. I'm basically just using my circular saw to cut out little grooves, and then I'm gonna come back with my flathead screwdriver or a chisel and come and just cut everything out and get all the little grooves and everything cut out, so we can go ahead and put the eave overhang in for the roof trusses. So this is a little tedious and it takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely something that you want to make sure that you're getting right. Okay, because if you don't, it's going to cause headaches in the future. Now that those 2 are built, it's time for me to go ahead and start putting the walls up on these sides. So this is the front and the back truss boards for these, which is the roof sections. And once again, once I lay them out on there, I use my router to go ahead and do the cutouts for this. It makes it so much easier to do this out cut this out with the router than trying to do this manually. Doing this manually, it will take some time. It'll take some time that is unnecessary. Now we're going to basically, I'm just saying if the door is fitting right, if I got the cuts and everything and the measurements right for the door, everything look a-okay. Put the door down. We're going to go ahead and continue on. My guy did start painting, but you only can see the front side a little bit, but I had him start on the sidewalk, so I'll be working on the front with getting those roof trusses up. And I'm going to start to wait for a minute so he can come over and help me with getting these roofs up, which you'll see right here in this next section. Now we are about midday when we started this. So now we got the front and back roofs up. Now we got to get the rest of the truss systems in. I had him come over here and help me with this so that we can get this done quicker. And he can get back to painting while I finish up the rest of his parts up in here. One thing I got to say is that if you're not doing actual full roof truss with the supports like I have, you can partially do it a little bit different. You don't exactly have to do it this way. Now this is the end of, close to the end of the second day. We got everything set up. Everything is put on together. And I think I kind of ended recording at this time because it was getting a little bit later in the daytime. Even though the sun is still out, it is roughly about 4:30 this evening. And I had to run back to the hardware store to grab a few more materials that I missed out on. And so I think I kind of ended it at this time. But just to take a look and see where we ended at on our second day in. See there, we got everything on 24-inch center. Now, like I said, typically I would do these on 16-inch centers, but the customer wanted to save a little bit of money. And, tell me, guys, if you out here in the field and you working and you building and stuff like that, the only way to kind of cut back on money is cut back on maybe your design and the quality of it. But this is perfectly fine for a 12 by 16 shed. So as you can see on day 3, now this is a Saturday, so my guy is off this time, and I'm working alone today. So I got a lot of work to get done. I got to get these roofs up here, get the felt paper in. I got to, not only I got to get the plywood and the felt paper in, I also got to go and get the shingles up and get everything, the drip edge and everything got to be done for the roof to make sure it's fully watertight to where ain't no water going to be getting in on the inside. So you'll see me working here by myself. And what I am using is some boards that I tacked on to the end, some 2x4s that they help hold that plywood in place. That it helped me from simply trying to struggle and work with that and worry about that plywood sliding back down on me. So I got the first part up on the front, on the one side, and I'm going on this back side where the water's at. And as you can see, I can set those plywoods on there because I got those 2x4s braced and fastened into place to where it won't allow those plywoods to slide off and fall. That's basically helping me get the job done a little bit easier since I'm working by myself and solo on getting these roofs done. Now this will be an all-day job for me because getting a 12 by 16 shed with double-sided roofs, with the arch roof like this and getting everything set in, it takes a lot. It does, and I'm not a young guy in the field no more. But this is, so as you see, I'm down here on the ground. I'm getting everything trimmed out. So what I'm doing now is cutting up the top parts for the top portion because these are 8x4 sheets. I don't need exactly 4 feet. So I'm cutting off, I think about 4 inches off each side. They were 7 feet, 8 inches or something like that. So I'm cutting off about 4 inches off of each side of those. And then I'm cutting some that's in half. So now I'm getting the rest of those plywoods up, the 8-footers and the 2 ones I cut in half because you don't want to leave those straight up in the line. You want to stagger those. If you don't stagger them, what it causes is it allow it to not be as secure as it should. So it's best to make sure that when you're doing the roof, you're always staggering. Okay, you don't want the roof lines to be lined up straight up across. The staggering causes a better but staggering the plywood for the roofs allows it to be more sturdier. That's what I meant to say. Bloopers, right? But like I said, I am working on my own today, so I'm finishing up the back side. I'm gonna finish up the front side. I am nailing in some 2x4s in the roof so to make it a little bit secure, so I have something to step on and secure myself on it so I won't fall off or slide off the roof. Without having the roof shingles on there, it does make the roof a little bit slippery, whether it's from the dirt or the dust that could be on the board plywood itself. You want to make sure that you're being secured up there. Now I could have just tied in with a lanyard or a rope, but this roof isn't really that huge or big for me to be worrying about that too much. But I'll be honest with you, still nervous without it. You should always lanyard yourself in, even though I didn't. So now I'm installing the drip edges. Now the drip edge, you want to make sure you're getting all the way around. You're installing the drip edge first before you do the roof felt. If you do the roof felt first, that roof felt can run down up under the drip edge. You want to make sure that you're putting down the drip edge first so you can put the roof felt over the top of that along the corners and everything. And as you'll see, it's going to happen in this next process right here. So now I'm cutting off my felts to specific sizes that I would need for the roof. Now the felt I'm using here is a thicker felt, which has an ice barrier, because it does get very cold and where I'm doing this job at today in Hesperia, California, and sometimes it does snow. So what I'm going to do is use the first 2 rows. I'm actually using a thicker ice barrier edge felt for doing these roofs. So that way these roofs are nicely tight and sealed in to where we ain't got to worry about no water leaking through or no cold barriers because of how cold it gets in this area. So now I'm installing the first few rows of shingle. And that's just basically, I like to do the shingles from the ground. Me being on the ladder, it feels safer. So that way when I do get up there, I got something at least three feet for me to be working with of shingle laid down. Now I did the first side over there, and I'm going on this back side because I really want to get this back side done because I'm losing daylight now. With me losing daylight, it's probably right now about 4 o'clock in the evening. So I got like an hour and a half left of sunlight. And I want to make sure I utilize that sunlight on this backside because I'm not going to be able to set my my work lights up on this backside to see that good. So I want to get this side completely done, or done as much as possible before I go back to the other side. And you will see here basically in the next 30 seconds it'll be dark. Now my camera is actually recording on hyperlapse, so every 1 second on here is 1 minute in real time. So 30 seconds mean about 30 minutes for it to go through, and you'll see it's going to start getting dark really, really quick. And the countdown for the darkness starts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now watch it get dark really quick. Now I think you can kind of tell at this point the darkness is kicking in very fast in like 8-10 seconds. And after 5 seconds, it's going to be extremely dark. It's going to be dark outside, but I can still kind of see what I'm doing up there on the roof. And now guess what? By 5:30, 5:45 is nighttime. So I finished that side already. So I brought the light to the other side to where I can go ahead and turn on my floodlights, my work lights, and I can do this other side and get this side done. I can see better with the lights over here on this side because I can pull it back. I don't have that wall as a barrier for me to resist how much light I'm going to get over there in that area. So now I'm getting this side done. You can see I'm getting the roofs up. Everything is being built up inside there. Now that these roofs are being put up on this side, once I get this done, that'll be the end of this day. Now it is a little dark outside, but I do have the lights out here for me to see. It's probably at this point, it's probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I really just wanted to get this done today because the next day I don't want to worry about doing nothing but doing some touch-up paint. So I want to get everything done today. So I was out on the ground. I had to go ahead and cut the top roof pieces off for the roof ridge. And now I'm installing those. As you can see, I'm getting the rest of the roofs in right there. And I'm going to go start putting the roof ridges in. All right, so here I am now. We're getting the roof ridges in. I'm starting down on one side. I get halfway through, and I'm going to go on the other side over here. And I'm going to start doing it from that side and getting all the roof ridges in. And then once I get down in the center, I'll go ahead and center it off and cap it off. And then I had to go back through and silicone it with some roof silicone. So now I'm adding the little edges over here on this because the roof is already completed. Now I'm going to get all these edges done. I'm going to get this door in, and that's going to be the end of day 3. The only thing I'm actually going to have left when I go back is just to do some touch-up paint work. And that's exactly where I want to leave it at. So at this point, I'm getting the door in. So I'm going to make sure everything is done right with the door. I had to bring my little laser light in for this one so I can make sure everything's lined up on the inside. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, we'll just use a square. Well, you know what? I don't want to use a square, okay? My laser level is perfect for doing things like this too. And it's not a big deal. You'll be able to see once it's up in there that everything is squared and the door open and closes properly. And like I said, this is a commercial door instead of an actual residential door. But, these are some of the upgrades I like to give when I'm out there in the field, and I like to give a customer, something that would really work out for them. So I'm putting the wedges in, getting the door all lined up, make sure everything's legit and squared. And so that way I'm testing it, opening and closing the door, make sure it's lining up right, closing right. Because if you don't get that right, you're going to really have problems in the future. And that's one thing you don't want to have is an issue with your doors. Okay. After everything is lined up right here, you can see little wedges over here on the sides. Now I mark out right here. Yep. Now I'm getting doorknobs installed, getting the keys. Now day 4, like I said, this is only a few hours today. And this is really just going to get some touch-up paint in. So I'm basically just going over the walls that wasn't done really right and just redoing those walls. So this is the side wall over here. And as we move the camera around to the back side, you'll see that I got to get the back side done over again. And now once this paint fully dries, the color that we used on this was a customer preference. I always allow the customer to pick out their own colors. They want to do a one-tone coat. I do charge a little bit more for a 2-tone color. I think the 2-tone color looks a lot better. But when the customer working on the budget, I do what I can to help them work on that. So you can see right here, the color that we actually use on this is called Silver Screen. It's a Glidden paint base from Home Depot. I typically don't use this paint from there, but this is what the customer requested. So you see there's a little fading at the top and the bottom, but that's going to dry up clear because the paint is still drying and it'll settle to the final color. So here's the inside. You can see how the inside came out looking. Everything is nicely done. Everything is secure. The roof truss, the walls, everything is legit. So, listen, you want to get a shed done. We're going to do it the way you want to get it done. We're going to get the sizes you want to get it done. You may want a weird size, a 16 by 8. You may want a 24 by 4. I don't know what you want. But, give us a call. Hit us up. We're going to get it done right for you. We're going to make sure it's done properly. And you can see the quality in our work. We don't skimp out. We don't, do anything that's not going to be legitly and right. We're going to make sure it's done properly all the way through. The door open and close as well. This is what we do. So hit us up. Go Industries, LLC. You want to get anything done, we got you. Sheds, exercise equipment. You want burglars, gazebos, we got you. This is what we do. Peace out. Go Industries.